Welcome to Couples Academy Live. Today we're continuing in our series about why we lie, and today's topic, how to be honest. Join us now.
Hey everybody,
Hey.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is an amazing day and we're talking about why we lie. Now listen, we've been in this series for the last 3 days and I think that the content, the dialogue has been so rich,
Yeah.
the interaction with people are starting to resonate with this in an amazing way. But before we get into today's topic, we are excited because today happens to be the 50th episode since we started Couples Academy Live just a few weeks ago, and you've been a part of that journey, and we're excited because it's a milestone for us and it means that we're moving forward in the direction that we need to move in. And so we just thought we'd take a moment to celebrate what the previous 50 have been like as we prepare for the next 50. So check this out.
We can't just go with the flow as it relates to everything, even though in a perfect world we would.
If only the world were
So,
perfect.
we could joke around and have fun.
You can.
And
You
I don't
can.
know why he pushes the start button while we're in the middle of
This
it.
is
I think he
because
wants to
we
share
on a time
with the
schedule.
world are crazy. That's what I think he wants.
Good morning. This is Couples Academy Live. If marriage is the foundation of all civilization, and if the marriage isn't together, then everything begins to fall apart. It's a thin line between love and hate. Why are you laughing? It's a thin line.
Later on, down the road, when we get into the relationship, we find out who we really are. So even though there is the giver and the taker, sometimes the giver really wasn't truly the giver. They were just putting out what they needed to put out to get what they needed to get. And now that they got you, their true colors can show. And now it's like, well, what about me? What about me? And now you're both taking, and nobody's giving. Hey, Sonny, what you got going on today? You wanna go for a walk later?
Yeah. Okay.
Can we get a dog?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you
Yeah,
want. babe.
amen.
Wait, what? Wait a minute, dog. We're not getting a dog.
You said I could get a dog.
I didn't hear you.
We're getting a
'Cause I
dog,
wasn't
y'all.
listening.
Yvette says, oh my God, that's how I felt going into another relationship after being in a relationship with infidelity, but his consistency is what made me trust again. Absolutely.
Consistency is the key.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I thought it's kind of hip. Like,
What are you talking about?
you were listening to something and it was like, modern, and I was like, oh.
Wait, I don't even know how to take that right now. What you
Like,
saying?
oh, we are each other's mirror, and so a lot of times we're both really guilty of the same thing. That's what makes it so difficult in relationships to have these honest conversations.
Intent was phenomenal. What score? You all
I
right?
had to kill a spider. Sorry. I'm a wife that'll kill a spider.
I appreciate that.
All right.
I appreciate that. That's love. That's real talk. In relationships, we have to learn how to be connected to one another, because once we're connected to one another, we feed each other. We feed each other spiritually. We feed each other emotionally. We feed each other relationally. We feed each other physically. But once we begin to disconnect, that's when all of the issues happen. Get your marriage back on track and begin to spend some quality time with your spouse. Wasn't that good?
Yes. You know what? I want to just give some praise and honor, acknowledgement to my daughter, Madison, who is becoming quite the producer. She has done every video pretty much that we've done over the last couple of years, edited it. She never.
Our 15-year-old daughter.
Yeah, she's 15 years old. We never trained her. She just has a passion for it. So I just want to acknowledge her in that. And I got to say, I am clearly going through a COVID-19 hair pandemic because I can't make up my mind. Listen, you would actually be going through a crisis too if you had some hair, okay?
There it is.
But yes, it's an honor to celebrate 50 shows. I don't think we set out with the intention to do all these shows. I don't know what the plan was, but because there's been such an overwhelming response, And you guys have stuck around and shared it, and we're hearing via email and phone calls the transformation that's coming to marriages as a result. We're like, let's keep going.
We're going to keep going, and we're going to take it to the next level. Couples Academy Live is now going to be officially called the Couples Academy Show. And so there's a lot to look forward to. We look forward to connecting with you all and continuing to answer your questions and to help take your relationship to the next level. Listen, before we jump in, let's just acknowledge good morning, Latasha, Vashawn, Stephen, Keith, Sonia, Ann, Sharonda, Latasha, Tina Moore, good to see you, Arlene, so many people, Daryl Payne, Kathy, Sharon. I hope that you've been getting something out of this series. We're going to dive right in and get down to work. So we've been talking about why we lie. And so today is part 3. And we want to transition into how to be honest. But let's just do a quick recap because we've been talking about why people lie. But we need to really cover what is the impact that lying has on a marriage. There are a number of things that we can point to. The first thing is lying obviously creates a lack of trust.
Right.
And many people would believe that love is the most important component in a relationship. And yes, it serves its purpose. It's critically important. But trust is it's like almost the cornerstone of a healthy relationship. And if you don't have it, it will really wreck the quality of your relationship. So it really impacts your ability to trust.
Isn't it interesting how we have no problem getting physically naked, but for some reason we can't get emotionally naked? I mean, me being married to Hassani, I'm expecting that I have emotional transparency. I want to know if you're having a bad day. I want to know why, what happened, to see if I can help or if I could just be a shoulder that you can lean on. So it's so important for us to learn how to have that emotional intimacy.
Yeah. One of the other ways that it negatively impacts a marriage when you're lying and you're dishonest, it creates constant stress. Think about the level of anxiety, the edginess. It's hard to relax. It's just hard to just be yourself. You're always on edge. You're looking around the corner, waiting for something to happen. You're waiting for the bomb to drop. That is not a healthy way to live.
Right.
Beyond the relationship, just what you're going through internally, the stress it causes on the body.
And the other effect is that when you start with these little lies, those stresses will cause you to create more lies or start telling lies of omission because you're being dishonest and you have secrets. And so now to cover up for those lies and to protect it, you begin to omit information. So now you're compounding your lies.
There it is. The next thing it does in terms of negatively impacting your marriage, it creates resentment. And resentment leads to bitterness. And that's what causes couples to be in this, and we say it all the time, this back and forth, tit for tat, low intensity warfare. They're trapped in the sufferer's pattern because they can't get beyond the resentment. And where do you harbor resentment? You harbor it in your heart. And when your heart has turned hard, when your heart is hardened, it literally can implode that relationship.
Absolutely. Go to the next one.
All right, well, let's hit it. The next thing you can cause is a lack of intimacy. You kind of just spoke to that. And you know, if you've been with us long enough, or if you're new to the channel, we often say that there are 4 components to intimacy. There is spiritual intimacy. There is emotional intimacy. Number 3, there's intellectual intimacy. And number 4, physical or sexual intimacy. And when lies continue to occur, it creates a huge divide. And you become as far apart as the East is from the West. And when you have no intimacy, that's one of the essential glues that binds a couple together.
And it just it's like a slippery slope starting these lies, because you're going from lying to covering up the lie to adding to the lie and compounding lies, and now you're lying of omission and all kinds of stuff. And then you begin to feel guilt. Like you can't have intimacy with somebody that you feel guilty about how you have lied to them, misled them, kept information from them. There's no way that you can also have intimacy at the same time as having lies dividing you. There's just no way. And so you will find yourself slipping further and further away to separate yourself from the person because you've lied so much.
That's right. Yolanda says that we can get physically naked, but not emotionally naked. And that's real. And a lot of couples, listen, a lot of couples are living with strangers. because they don't feel comfortable to open up to share who they really are. They're just literally strangers in a lifelong partnership together.
Yeah.
And that's not a good place to be in. I think Shara says, love brings you together, but trust keeps you together. That is so true. We say this all the time. People get married because they fall in love. But guess what? People who get divorced, they still love each other,
Right.
but it didn't work.
Right.
Why? Because trust as one of the foundational pillars was removed from that relationship. So critically important.
And think
that we
about
do
the
so.
moral effect. I mean, being honest is a moral norm. It's an expectation, whether it's just, whether you have religion or not. You're just expected to be honest. But think about the demise of your character as you begin to lie, right? Now you have this guilt. Now you have this shame and this, self-loathing issue that is taking residence in you. Yesterday, we talked about the study that proved that actually you physically change and become a liar the more lies that you tell, right? And there have been, and we all know, like if somebody hooks you up to a lie detector test, your pressure will rise when you're telling lies. Even if your face is straight, even if you look like you're being honest, if you're connected to that lie detector test, it will detect that there is something physiologically happening to you. So just think about the overall demise of your character when you lie. Those are the ramifications. Like that's the stuff, the big time stuff. You're lying to overcome a situation, to get away with something or whatever you think, the little white lie. You think that you're avoiding something by lying. And what you're really doing is jumping into another hot boiling pot that you didn't know because maybe it was just lukewarm when you jumped in the live pot and they keep turning up the heat and next thing you know you're cooked and you can't get out.
That is so true. it just doesn't serve you, let alone your relationship.
It doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve anybody.
And what you're talking about is how it impacts your self-concept, how it impacts your self-image. You literally become someone different because of behavior that really can cause a demise to the relationship. Janice says, that's so true. It causes offense, and offense causes bitterness, which causes unforgiveness, which creates hatred, and are all sins. That is so true. And it's important that if we truly have the love of God in our relationships, one of the foundational aspects of it, as we talked about in the love series, is that love always trusts, love operates in truth, love does not deceive. So this is what we're talking about. If you really want your relationship to work, you have to have trust as a foundational pillar. And so we've heard this before, that the best policy, that being honest is the best policy. Really, it should be the only policy. Now think about it. As I came across this interesting statement, a book called The Lies We Tell and the Clues We Miss. It says that dating couples lie to each other about 1/3 of the time, while married couples do so about 1 in 10 interactions. While people seem to tell fewer lies of the little or everyday lies to loved ones, 64% of serious lies, which are like deep betrayals of trust, do involve people's closest relationship partners. That's an amazing statistic. So we lie from the jump. Wow. And we've been lying all throughout the course of the relationship.
Because you got to keep up with your lies.
You got to keep up with it.
Like, unless you decide, okay, let me just shut this down right now. Now you have to have this big truth moment, right? Which you don't know if that relationship can come back from. You don't know if it will recover from it. So in most cases, people just keep up with the lie. That's how you have things being revealed 20 years down the line because you were covering up a lie the entire time.
Secrets can literally destroy your relationship. We talk about the 3 lives that you live. You live a public life, you live a private life, and you live a secret life. In the world, the people you go to work with, the people you go to church with, those in your community, they're part of your public life. But then your spouse and your children and your close friends, they're part of your private life. But then there's the secret life, the one that only you and God know about. And so oftentimes the secrecy, we call it privacy. I'm just a private person. But the difference between privacy and secrecy is motive and intent. And if you're living in secrets, it's only going to really negatively impact the relationship. And so bringing your spouse into your secret thought life can help develop a close level of intimacy. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about emotional intimacy. And so foundationally, you need trust, you need honesty. And when we get back from this quick commercial break, we're going to talk about how to begin to be honest in your marriage. You're watching the Couples Academy show. Be right back. Is communication a struggle in your relationship? Do you feel misunderstood or taken for granted? Do you ever wonder why connection with your partner has to be so hard? If you've asked yourself these questions and many more, then you need to register for the More Than Words, The Secret to Breakthrough Communication for Couples Masterclass. The date is Saturday, September 26, 2020, from 12 p.m. noon to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The cost is only $197. So whether you're single, dating, in a committed courtship, engaged, or married, the More Than Words Communication Masterclass is for you. Simply click the registration link below, secure your virtual seat, and get ready to experience breakthrough in your relationship.
Hi, my name is Kayana Williams, and I'm from Houston, Texas.
Hi, my name is Justin Williams, and I'm from Houston, Texas.
And we have the opportunity to experience the Enneagram personality test through Couples Academy, and it was an amazing impact on our marriage because it allowed me personally to see myself and see why I do the things I do that has affected our marriage in a good way and a bad way. It allowed me to push and strive for the healthiest personality trait that I could possibly have. And it was very, very, very detailed. And as Danielle put it, it allowed me not to see myself trapped in the box, but to see why I am not soaring as a wife.
Yes, with the detailed, the numbers, it helped me understand why my wife acted this way. It wasn't that she was being negative or hard. It was her being herself. And now and seeing myself now that we both coexist with each other. And the thing that's mind blowing is that we might be totally opposite, but we actually fit together. We're meant to be together. And I love that part. And Ms. Danielle did a great, awesome job of how detailed it was on point of our personalities, how we really are in life.
I really think every couple, or even before your relationship, if you're thinking about getting married, should take that test so that you can really kind of dive and understand each other's personality.
Yes, I tell you, communication is critically important. Knowing who you are and knowing your Enneagram allows you to show up the best way. It allows you to live in your authenticity. I think a lot of people who don't have a concept of who they are live in self-deception. So if I'm deceiving myself, then it's easy to deceive you.
Absolutely.
Right? So we have a couple comments. Let's jump in. The liar also causes the other to sin. Bitterness, resentment, etc. That puts the other partner exposed and not covered. That's a powerful point right there. So it's not just impacting you, it's impacting those that you're connected to. Then we have Edmund, who says, some think it's okay to lie to others and in our situations, but not with them. But it's all connected. If you can lie for me, you can lie to me.
That's true. That's a good point.
If you can lie for me, then you can lie to me. That is critical. And that's why you got to operate with honesty, which is the best policy across the board. And when you're uncompromising with it, it really, if you're involved in a long-term game, that's what it's all ultimately about. A lot of times people are thinking short-term, they're thinking now, they're thinking about this situation and not thinking about the long-term implications of your decisions and your behaviors. So truth, there you go. That's the long-term game. And the question is, how do you begin to tell the truth to your spouse? I think a lot of us want to tell the truth, but don't know how to tell it.
Right.
And one of the ways that we do it is in a brutal way, when we're not sensitive to the person that we're talking to. We just gonna keep it real and
Right.
tell it like it is, and it is what it is, and you need to deal with it, and you need to grow up and be an adult, and da da da. And we've done more damage. And oftentimes it's not the truth that we share, but the delivery, the lack of sensibility, and all those other things that negatively impact
Yeah.
what happens.
In addition to that, also we might just not know what the repercussions of our honesty is going to be. So even if I take some time to figure out how I'm going to gently break the news about something, I might be fearful because I know that this person is going to react, crazy. They might explode on me. They may not hear me. They might misconstrue what I'm saying and take it in a different way. And once they get it in their head a certain kind of way, they just believe it and they hold on to it and they won't let it go. And so there's all these things that keep us delaying revealing truth.
There it is. So how do you do it? I think one of the first steps that one could take is, if you're going to express a difficult truth, whatever that truth may be. And I think that, because a lot of people make comments about infidelity, that's the only thing that we're thinking of. But it can be anything. It doesn't matter what it is. But if you're going to tell a difficult truth, you want to give your partner a heads up. You want to let them know that you would like to have, somewhat of a sensitive or difficult conversation. That way, at least you're giving them time to get their mind, their heart, their thoughts together to fully engage in that conversation.
Right, and let me just piggyback on what you said, that it could be anything. I mean, I think that we overlook all the situational truths that we need to be telling each other, that happen on a day-to-day basis. And I think that there needs to be an environment in the relationship where you can be honest. Like, if you bring me breakfast, surprise me with breakfast. No, if I surprise you with breakfast in the morning and I bring you a bowl of watermelon and you don't like watermelon, and I know you don't like watermelon, you shouldn't have to fake it. You should be able to say, thank you for bringing me the watermelon, but I don't really like watermelon.
And
you
know this.
And you
man.
and you know this. Did you forget? Like, these are the things. This is Sandy, the transparency.
Yeah.
That's what we need, because he shouldn't have to fake the fact that he likes watermelon. He shouldn't have to gloss over it when he knows I know, or he thinks that I should know. He should be able to say to me, you know what? Did you not know that? I thought I told you that. Okay, well, now you know I don't like watermelon. And next time she won't bring me no watermelon.
Right. So if you bringing me watermelon because you like watermelon,
that's it,
and I don't, then you're not sensitive to my needs.
Right.
It's just like, I'm not really big on spicy food. Danielle loves spicy food.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, babe.
But I know, right?
It's hellfire.
And I'll say, my bad.
Hot.
I didn't mean to make it this. I'm like, it's hot to you? Like, for real?
As opposed to, get over it.
I get on
You need
him.
to be a man. Get some spice in your life.
I don't do all that.
Of course not.
But I do get on him, and I'll be like, Dag, I don't even taste any spice. You burning for real? Like, you really burn? But I am sensitive to the fact that he doesn't like spice. The girls, they love spice. So sometimes when I'm making a dish and they're like, this ain't spicy enough, I'm like, Daddy likes it like this, okay? It's a lot of things. What about sexual transparency? You need to be able to speak to your spouse and talk about what you like and what you don't like, because the truth is, what I liked 10 years ago, I might not like today.
There it is.
And vice versa, right? So that's the level of transparency we need to be able to have. All kinds of situations happen all throughout the day where we legit are lying to each other for fear of the ramifications.
And we got to stop doing that. And that's why we start faking and giving false impressions, and somebody think they doing something, and you don't feel sad. It's just and it goes across the board. It's every single area of your life. You done started something, Danielle. My husband don't understand that I need all the truth so I can heal from it all, and not heal only to be hit again down the road. Respect me and my position, to be totally honest. Respect our 28 years.
Yes.
Very well said. That's why it's important that we take time to know our spouse and we love them from their side, not our own.
Yes,
that's
Sonia.
A powerful point. Stephen says, but what if you're transparent about not liking watermelon and your spouse responds by not bringing anything at all going forward? See, that's the all or nothing. That's the extreme. So now I'm offended that you told me the truth. So forget it. You can get your own food. You can do your own. No.
But that's
no,
a good point. But that's what I'm talking about the ramifications of it all, right? We have these fears, like if I'm honest, and I'm not, I mean, there's big lies that you just are lying, infidelity, cheating, sneaking, all of that. And then there's what we're doing every day. Like, I just got to ignore the fact that I don't like this because of your response. It's going to be negative. So, oh, well, I'll just deal with it. And that plays a lot into personalities too.
That's
Certain
right.
personalities will just fall on the sword every time to avoid the conflict.
That's right. That's why. Oh, wait a minute. That's why Kathy said, "Feel the fear and
You
do it
better
anyway."
say it, Kathy. You know we love that.
We sure enough do. You better get it.
That's our
All right.
motto.
So the next thing. So number one, you want to preface. Listen, there's something I want to talk about. But then we have a tendency to unload and just dump or flood with all the information. We want to get it off of us as soon as possible. And we don't realize that those are two daggers. Number one, the truth can be a dagger because it's like a shock to your system. But then your delivery is a dagger because of how you did it. And so you want to pace yourself. You want to lay a foundation. You want to build an environment of safety and comfort so that they're more receptive to what it is that you have to say. Going back to the food analogy, if you don't know how to cook and you serve up a meal, they're not going to be willing to eat that. They're not going to be excited about it. But if it's palatable, if it's something that is edible, they could receive it better.
Right. Or look at it like this. Like, let's take the food crisis, okay? Because me and you have dealt with that. Hassani's not a cook, but you know what I can respect is that a lot of times he will try to create something that I love. He really will. He'll get a recipe like with the avocado toast.
I killed that avocado toast.
You did an avocado toast.
I killed it.
Melody.
He
knows I love avocado.
I killed the avocado toast.
He killed the avocado toast.
KILT.
Now, but there's other things that I like, right? So don't come and make me some half-cooked chicken and expect me to pretend that the half-cooked chicken is good. But what you can do is you can go buy you a rotisserie chicken, put that on the plate and do it and display it. There's so many things we can do to accommodate our spouses so that our spouses aren't forced to decide, do I tell the truth? Because he should know or she should know, or do I hide this or protect their ego? A lot of times these lies are an effort to protect somebody's feelings or their ego, and it backfires on us.
And that leads to the next point. Now, we've talked about what the person who has to tell the truth needs to do, but if you're on the other side receiving a truth, the way that you can get your spouse to be honest is to do this. Be curious, not furious. Let me say that again.
Ooh, yes.
That's a hashtag.
There you go.
Be curious, not furious.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Right.
Okay, help me understand what it is you're saying.
Right.
Help me to see it from your perspective. But if you're immediately offended, if you're immediately on guard, if you now go into the tit for tat and start yelling and screaming and cutting them off, and that don't make no sense, and you don't know what you're talking about, well, you've just taught them how to show up. Not to show up at all because you can't take it.
Right.
And so oftentimes, maybe that's who you were in the past. That's not who you are anymore, but your spouse is still haunted by the ghosts of the past of how you always showed up.
Yeah.
And so you have to demonstrate, listen, babe, I know in the past, I've responded in such and such a way, but I'm really transitioning and wanting to be better. And so I would appreciate if you would share that truth. And I promise to be my best self as I receive it.
I think it's not showing up accusatory. That makes a difference in how somebody receives it. That's one thing. But as it relates to how you deliver it, right? That also depends on how long you've been sitting on your truth, right? How long have you been sitting on your truth wanting to say something, but you haven't for fear of whatever? So the longer you sit on lies to protect somebody's feelings or ego, the more emotional the delivery is going to be. Don't allow your emotions to overtake you so that you begin to flood and it's a negative result.
There it is. And our last tip, create a culture of honesty in your home.
Yeah.
When it becomes a practice, something you do regularly, like having a feedback loop, maybe during your workday, let me share something with you positive. Let me share something with you that may be somewhat challenging, but the more we can get in the rhythm of being honest, you're building up that muscle to be able to have healthy dialogue in your relationship. And that was our series. If you are a liar, get yourself together. If you're with a liar, encourage them to tell the truth. Change the dynamic and the trajectory of your relationship.
Have them watch the series.
Have
If You're
them
with a liar.
Watch the series, take notes, talk about it, stop pointing the finger, stop weaponizing each other with these lessons, but let it be helpful in really building a healthy foundation. Guys, we love you. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. We'll see you in the morning.
Can't bring us down, can't nothing bring us down. Our love is too high, bring us down, can't nothing bring us down. Bring us down, can't nothing